Nigerian governors Buni, Zulum, and others from terrorism-ravaged states are in Japan to learn how to recover from a war situation. Well, they noted that the Hiroshima experience would help them fast-track peace-building and recovery processes. Some governors from the northern region of Nigeria, including Governor Mai Malabuni of Yobe State and Governor Babagana Umara Zulum of Borno State, are in Japan to learn how the country recovered after the bombing of Hiroshima in 1945. Borno and Yobe are among the states most affected by terrorism in Nigeria. Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists and other criminal elements have been terrorizing the region. The governor's study tour was made known on Wednesday in a statement to Daily Post by the Director General Press and Media Affairs to Governor Buni Maman Mohammed. According to the statement, the study tour coordinated by the United Nations Development Programme and the Japanese International Cooperation Agency was to equip Yobe, Borno, and Adamawa state governments with a sustainable post-insurgency recovery process. It was stated that Buni Zulum and a representative of Adamawa state government noted that the Hiroshima experience would help them fast-track peace-building and recovery processes from the horrific Boko Haram insurgency in their respective states. Also, Buni discussed areas of interest to the state, including education, agriculture, humanitarian and livelihood support, as well as youth empowerment and skills acquisition. The statement noted that the delegation also had discussions on the Japan-Nigeria Parliamentary Friendship League, a lecture series on the history of Hiroshima, peace-building and recovery. They also visited the Vice President of JICA, the Deputy Governor of Hiroshima City, and the Nigerian Ambassador to Japan. Well, I mean, it's great that they're doing this. I mean, you have to learn from... I mean, obviously, Hiroshima was sort of different. We're going to talk about intensity of how they had to survive that. And just, you know, the thing itself, like, we can't obviously compare it to what Boko Haram is doing. But I guess learning from an advanced country that has been through war is good. But it's funny because right now, it's towards the end of their tenure. So you would want to ask, okay, why are you learning this now? What sort of implementation would you want to establish now that would yield positive results in the next how many months? Well, if anything, maybe they'll do it for the next coming governor of their respective states to know how to fight it. Well, if anything, they should actually learn how to fight. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to recover from something, it means there must have been a war, right? So it's like, okay, fine. It's good to prepare. But very key aspect is the fact that they've also got to empower the Nigerian army to know how to fight. Because, let's be honest, the Nigerian army has been losing desperately. I mean, even from the Boko Haram leader, like... Do you know how many times the Nigerian army says that they've taken him out, and the man just kept on reappearing? So what would you say about that? So definitely, it does show that a lot of work needs to be done in that regard. But really, like, yeah, we actually need to focus on winning and actually fighting back and winning, not necessarily trying to survive and recover every single time. It's getting a bit repetitive now. And you know what? I think, if anything, you'd expect the people of those states to really be angered, to really express, and to really... Because they're not going through the best of the best experiences. We can't say that, wow, have fun. But really, they're not going through it. So really, they should be the ones applying pressure for what their government should do for them. Because, again, each state has its own way of ruling and their own governors, given the fact that it's Nigeria. So fact is, it's good in itself, but then I guess this in the long run would probably be justification for what they did during their tenure, whether it was 2 months before they left or never at all. This would probably be justification to say that, while we were there, this is what we did. And it's fun because this is sort of what Peter Obi started by going to Egypt and learning about how they generate power and electricity. And now in this case, they're sort of doing the same thing, going to learn, but they're the ones criticizing Peter Obi for going around. Please, doesn't make sense. If Atiku wins, he will reward Melaye, Renomokri, and his party members. If Tinubu wins, he will reward Joy Bokwe, M. Solomo, Oshomole, Lai Mohammed, and his party members. If Peter Obi wins, he will reward Nigerian youths from every tribe and region and religion. They are looking for aid, and when it comes, they will corner to their own pocket. Learn that Zulum is paying teachers less than 10k, whereas it is established that the main cause of insurgency was a lack of education. You may ask, what have those governors in those areas affected by terrorism done with the huge aids they're given all these years? Exactly. You know what this is? Let's talk about aid, okay? Because you cannot say, and I know for sure there are so many international charitable organizations that would send aid in whatever it is, but when it comes to money, they will send it for sure. And so the thing is, what have they been able to do with it? Because really there is no excuse. There's literally no excuse as to why any part of Nigeria should be very insecure. There is no excuse. The resources are there, and again, not that we just assume, you know what, there are resources to just spend. No. But we know the resources are there because we know what they spend the resources on. And they all have nothing to do with the betterment of the Nigerian people. So really, I don't know. I feel like, in those respective states, Adamawa, Borno, I mean, the people in the states, obviously education and all that, but if they just think to themselves how they're being violated, I don't think education gives that in that sense for you to know you're right. Because at the end of the day, you can just call it manipulation of those that are vulnerable, to be honest. Not necessarily lack of education, because they should also know that they do have a government, and if they're not doing their job, they have a right to speak up against it. It's the mentality that has been built there over the years that is the one pulling them back. Because really, if they were going to stand up for themselves, I mean, there is no way in the South. It's just a different mentality. There's no way in the South that Boko Haram will ravage the South so much, and then nothing would happen. It would just be a normal occurrence. There is no way. Put what you think about it in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.